This industry is way too big. There's way too many people out there. There's way too many opportunities out there for you to struggle. Look at who am I talking to? What do they do? How do they do it? And I say this to everybody because I've had people say, well, I'm thinking about going blah, blah, blah. My first question is, how are they going to train you? You don't even know. You're sitting here having a conversation with me about what do you think I should do, and you can't answer a basic question about how you're going to get from point A to point B. What else would you do in life if you didn't know how you were going to do it?
Welcome back to another unbelievable episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Wait till you see who I've got on the other side of the table today. The OG, a guy who's been in the industry longer than I think I've been in America. And he is a guy who is infectious. When you meet him, he's got a personality that's an attractor. He's an attractor of people. He's a giver. He's a communicator. He's a collaborator. He loves life, loves his family, loves to travel. And he's figured out how to take a business of life insurance sales and specifically now telesales and turn it into a money-making traveling machine. I think. I don't know. Is that what we're calling it?
I love it.
Welcome to the podcast, Tony
We're
Gilliam.
trademark that.
Tony Gilliam, welcome to the Life Insurance Academy podcast, man. It's good to have you.
My pleasure. Always.
Dude, we've known each other for how long now?
Ooh. 4 or 5.
I think we really got connected on a boat somewhere in Florida.
Yes.
Didn't we?
That's at least. That goes back to Cody, yeah. Talking about relationships. That's a whole nother podcast for itself.
Where were we, in Naples? Or in Tampa?
Yeah.
Naples.
Right. It was in,
Naples. And we were doing a harbor tour.
And we hung gigantic houses on a gigantic boat.
Yeah,
I was doing some gigantic dreaming. That's what I was doing.
That's right. And we connected.
A lot of good people.
That was through the 8% Nation,
Correct.
Kind of like a mastermind group. And you were there, and I was there, and my wife. And we were all connecting and having fun.
Yep.
Years go by, and I'm in Canada. I'm having dinner with my dad, my 93-year-old father.
Right.
We're having some fries, hamburger meat, and
You're
gravy.
having a heart attack on a plate.
On a beach with my father at this little restaurant on my beach, the beach that I grew up on the little lake. And you saw this thing and messaged me on social and said, dude, you're getting ready to have a heart attack. We need to talk.
100%. I had been looking at that point, and because of that post, I just used it as an opportunity. I got to reach out to you, and we got to chat. We need to have a talk. It's time for me to kind of find my final landing place. So that's where it kind of started.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we got connected, and you're now here in Louisville for one of the Game Changer boot camps at the Life Insurance Academy.
Absolutely, love it.
And this is your second, right? Because you attended one in Greenville,
right?
Your hometown.
Yep.
Greenville, South Carolina.
You weren't coming down there, me not seeing you. That was not going to happen.
Yeah.
It was a last minute slide in,
and that was an in-person event we did down there.
It was great.
And we had three full days.
A lot of great people there as well.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into that. Why you, after all these years, you started out in health.
Yes.
Health. And now you're in life insurance.
Correct.
Specifically, you're doing telesales now.
Right.
Traveling the country. Every time I see your post, you're in some different state with your entire family, having food, by a pool, watching TV. You're working, traveling, and every time I see you, you're in a Hawaiian shirt, and I'm surprised you don't have flip-flops on today.
It's colder here. I can't. It doesn't work.
That's right.
South Carolina, it's chilly, but I at least can get away with it. But no, that's flip-flops and T-shirts. Are you even doing telesales if you're not in flip-flops and T-shirts? That's kind of my tagline. So I always learn something coming here. We'll always want to be a part of, from day one. You have been, I think if I'm honest, we got introduced on a Zoom, again, I think through Cody, and I was I wasn't as taken by what you were saying. Then I got to see you in person. I
wasn't as taken. What does that mean?
Well, because once I saw you in person, it was like,
guy?
Once I saw you in person, it's like, this is, I guess it's the energy. I feel the realness.
Yeah.
And it was, then I knew this is a guy I want to be a part of. And you have, every time we have a conversation, something, I walk away going, another nugget, another nugget. And it's rare, the kind of people, and I'm not saying this to be braggadocious, it's just that I'm old. And the amount of people,
not that old.
Well, for the industry, I guess not really, but in life, my kids remind me every day that, my hair's, that's why I do this. So I don't age anymore. But
that's right.
It's rare that I can find somebody that I can talk to and that knows how to really talk back to me, in a way that I can get something from. And that is so rare, especially in this industry, because everybody just wants to be pompous and arrogant, and that doesn't you don't even come across that way. So that's probably what drew me in. And then the amount of depth of the things that you have is like, good night, this guy's, why is way beyond his years. I'm thinking this guy should be 90 the way he's talking. So
Thank you, man.
I have appreciated everything from day one. It has been awesome. And so you open these things up, I'm going to be here. I'm always glad to be in the room, always learn something. You always have more people coming in as well.
Yeah.
Learn from them as well. So there's no downside to this at all.
You've had an interesting journey from health. How many years total? Did we say the years? How many years?
It'd be 28.
28. He has been doing this longer than I've been in the U.S.
Yes.
So health
what drew you in
insurance.
here, so.
Health insurance.
Yes.
Meandered through. You worked for a captive group, I guess, at some point, and then went on your own, and then found your way into life insurance.
Eventually.
You're doing mortgage protection for quite a while.
Yeah. Came back in.
And now you're doing mortgage protection and telesales. Really, it's really multiple lead types now, right? Over the phone.
Now I'm pretty much final expenses is where I'm drilling into, simply because of building at this point, and it's a much simpler, obviously a much simpler product to train. So, and do over the phone.
And
for me personally.
lead gen is not that difficult. Generating leads for this space has been
very much
has been good, and you've also tapped into some really good lead sources.
Correct. Yeah,
with some good.
I
lead
got the scars to show that too. I mean, there's that's the wild west.
How many people want to know where the secret leads are?
Right.
Right. This guy
right
knows where all the good leads are.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you want to know, like what's up with that, like get with him. He knows some things about leads. He knows some things about leads for sure.
Right.
So Tony, like you've come full circle. You're here. You've got tremendous success in the business. I've known you for a long time, and yet you plug yourself in to become a student. And I know you say, I've always learned some things, but that's rare. That's rare that you find somebody that says, hey, I want to plug in, I want to learn. And you're just not learning how to sell at this point, because you've sold at a pretty high level for a long time. I mean, you've created this lifestyle. I see photos of you and your family at different places all around the country, and you post, if you're not traveling with your family, you're not doing it right.
Correct.
If you don't have an opportunity where you can make money from anywhere, what are you really doing with your life? Like what's so great about your life? You know what I mean? It's almost like you're putting it in their face. Not that you are, but the thing that I love about you is you love creating these experiences for your family.
Yeah.
Right? And you do travel a lot.
Yes. That actually came from my wife. That was her idea years ago. I don't even know when we first started, but we both had the chat about growing up, and both of us didn't have that. I grew up in Iowa in the middle of the cornfields and hogs, and my dad was in construction. So his off time was the winter. So there was no way we were traveling during the summertime when everybody else did. So I remember one distinct vacation we had as a family. I remember to this day, I can go through everything with you. And we left Iowa driving and drove down south, ended up going through Oklahoma, then Texas, and cutting over. And Carlsbad Caverns, greatest thing I've ever done to date as far as natural. Ended up, I have an aunt outside of LA. We did, Disneyland, all that good stuff. But that's the only memory I have with my one brother and our family. And we were most of the time driving. Her family's a little different. Her dad's originally from Michigan. She's gone back and forth a couple times from South Carolina. But not a whole lot of, campers and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with camping, but for us, that's not what we wanted to do. And so we just made the decision that we want to do experiences, not gifts. So that, we get small gifts for the kids, and we do Christmas time, small, but we like to go do stuff. Yeah. So from the time they've been little, I mean, we've had annual season passes we started at Legoland, then that turned into SeaWorld, and then it was Busch Gardens this last year, and I don't know what we're going to do now, but we spend a lot of time in Florida because it's warm. Yeah. But that's what we're doing. And we say this all the time. Our kids are spoiled rotten. They're like, they almost go, oh, we're going on vacation again. I mean, it's almost to that point. I'm like, you don't even know. You'll look back. All I can do is go, one day you'll be my age, and you'll look back and go, man, that was great. My parents did that. That's all I'm doing it for right now. Because at some point it'll pay off dividends at the end. And this lets me do it. How in the world can you not be part of an industry and something you can do where I can just take my laptop and sit down, and in 4.5 hours I've paid for the trip. One day, maybe two, sometimes depending on the weather. And my kids know it. It is what it is. And and at home, same thing. Maybe I spend the whole day with the kids. And they're, my oldest is 13. Well, my three that are at home now, 13.
Your oldest is not 13. You got 8 children.
Well,
children.
This round, yes.
3
It's
at
actually
home.
28, 27, 24, 6, and then
Yeah.
2 in the middle. Melissa's are in the middle, and then we have a 13-year-old, a soon-to-be 12-year-old daughter, and then a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And she's my height, so our kids are gigantic anyway. So they're it's like 5 adults going on vacation.
And your wife's name?
Melissa.
And it was her desire to travel and see the world and create experiences.
And they're old enough now.
Hey, shout
we
out
want
to
to
you,
do more.
Melissa.
So.
Shout out to you
Very much
for your desire to do that. You got to give her a shout out.
Absolutely. Single greatest decision outside my relationship with God, the single greatest decision in my life to this day, 100%.
And now it's there in posterity forever.
Yeah.
That you said that.
Yes, it's there. It's
All
on
right.
the internet now.
So whenever he waffles, whenever he starts to waffle, you just play the video clip.
Thank you for that, Roger.
Decision, right? I'm going to hold him to it for you. There you go.
I tell her that. She knows that
That's awesome.
for 100%. She's my Joel 2 woman. God in his sense of humor set me up with the right person at the right time. At this point, I wasn't looking, and our story is a story for all stories. But I would not be where I am right now without her. No doubt about it.
That's awesome,
None.
man. That's awesome. Well,
None.
I got to respect the man who respects and loves his family and his wife, and these are values that I hold very dearly. So
Yes.
I respect it.
Another link that I hold and
Game recognizes game there,
and appreciate.
okay?
Yeah,
I
and
like
you travel
to
more than I
travel.
do. She's already goes. Well, he was with Rose, and she doesn't even know Rose. They're like Facebook friends. I'm like, why are you talking about Rose? Like Rose, but they were over here, and so you've upped the game for me. I'm like, he's further on the path. That's why I'm following him. So
Yeah.
eventually we'll get there. I want to have a memory of Italy, and I want to have a memory of France, and I want to have a memory of even Canada. We'll go up there too. I've been there, but we need to take everybody up there.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And again, part of an industry that allows that.
So Tony, we want to talk to some agents here today, and you're now in a place where you're wanting to build an organization. You're not just looking to scale up and level up yourself, but you're looking to grow a business.
Correct.
And you've been through the gauntlet. You've been around this industry for 20 plus years, so you know the good, the bad, the ugly, the underside, the positive things. What are some components that you would say are important for you to actually build something with others? What are some key components to agents for their success, your success in trying to build something and then provide an opportunity for agents? What are some of those key components for you?
It starts with community is the first thing. There's only so much any one person can do, obviously. I can't I could, I guess, but it would be a very long and drawn out process that would not be good as something where I can step in and have access to just basic stuff like going through contracting and making sure carriers are done and blah, 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 all the back end stuff that I am horrible at. And then in getting into training and products and all those kind of things, there's the industry is not known for being friendly about that, which is one thing that makes Life Insurance Academy different than everything else, is that it doesn't matter what IMO you're with, it doesn't matter what company you're with, it doesn't matter even what product line, things like that, you're just bringing value. That's why I wanted to align with that anyway, just simply because of there's so many things within the insurance industry that everybody can do. But for me, I just wanted to concentrate on one simple thing. Can I get to, training people on final expense, simple product? Let's do it on telesales. Okay, that good or bad depends on what people want to look at. I love it. I think it's the simplest and the greatest thing out there. So how am I going to scale that on a large? There's no way you do that by yourself. So community's number one, and then the community should then we put the pillars underneath of it with the training, product knowledge, back end office stuff, all those things. So I knew I had to align with somebody that I'm not having to recreate the wheel. And I've gone around, okay, let's do this and this, and you get a little bit of here, or it's over here and it's only this way, period.
Yeah.
And you can't do it any other way. And if you're doing it any other way, you're dumb or you don't know what you're doing. And, okay, you know, you start opening up your eyes, you get exposed to a few other people and go, well, he's not doing it that way. And he's pretty successful. So
Yeah.
maybe there's something to this. And that's probably if there's an advantage to jumping all over the place over 20 years, that's probably what I got. I've seen the good, bad, and the ugly, like you said. And I recognize it now.
And so where have you landed? Who are you connected to now as far as finding an organization that is broad in cross-training specifically for your niche?
Here you come in again.
If you want, like the thing that I appreciate about Tony is he's got his systems dialed in.
Right.
And you know, at the Life Insurance Academy, we're all about systems and structures.
Correct.
And if you probably peel back the layers of everything we do here, it's about principle-based selling.
Right.
Ethical selling,
Right.
Ethical and principle-based selling that has structures and frameworks that people can grab onto so they can become successful. So when things starting to spin, they have a framework for the process, right? Also, likewise, a community that with the structure, the framework of that community. Let's talk about where you've landed, why that community, and why is it successful, and the opportunity new agents have coming into that.
It's again bringing you back into it. I mean, you had Jalen and Mike on here, True Wealth, and two super. I mean, this is where I started.
Jalen Talley and Michael Cortang.
Yes, sorry,
with True Wealth Financial.
True Wealth
Columbus,
Financial,
Ohio. They were guests on the show.
Ohio State.
A year and a half ago.
I can't even mention that without, sorry, being an Iowa guy. But they were on, and again, same thing with. The culture that they're part of. These are two young men, and that's where I've started to become, the Godfather and the OG and all this stuff, because I've been in the business longer than they've been alive.
They call you OG.
That's where
they don't call you Tony G. They call you OG.
It is what it is. But I respect it, and we have a good relationship. I respect everything they've done because I'm like, good grief, I wish I was 27 and sitting where y'all are sitting. That's just awesome. But they have culture. Mm-hmm. They have structure. They have all those things. Jalen, good grief, he's one of the best in the industry as far as telesales, and figured it out himself, which I respect that highly because I kind of went through the same process. Now I was starting from a different position than he was, so I look at that and go, good grief. And it comes back to, as you're talking about, you got to have that structure. You got to have the principles that are in there. I think that I think it just kind of recognized. What did Chris say when success? Help me out here. When success rises, they converge at the time.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like has happened.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship is one side, your relationship is one side, and now we bring in Mike and Jalen, and it's just as I've continued to pour into relationships, it's just kind of this is where we ended up. Ethics, huge thing. I'm not going to lie to somebody. I've been taught that way in the past that it's kind of a gray area. I'm like, no, it's kind of a lie, and I'm not going to do that. So. There's none of that. It's not even thought of. Mm-hmm. It's just because of, again, a relationship and being introduced to the right people. I mean, for what I envisioned, and then being exposed to Mike and Jalen, now it's like on steroids as far as what I see here. It's again structure and having everything in place. It's awesome. So I have you to thank for that as well, because that's where the introduction technically started. So with this podcast and getting it and then ending up where I ended up. So
I love the ability to be able to connect people from across the industry and then hearing the success stories later. Yeah. And when you first start that, so that interview was like a year and a half ago.
Right.
It's got almost 17,000 views right now, I believe, on our YouTube channel. And we didn't know where that was going to go. I had no idea. So likewise, where's this interview going to go? Who's going to see something and go, you know what? There's an opportunity here. And that one can lead to that, and now this new connections made and new relationships formed, and people are start having success for their family, and then they go on a mission to create experiences for their kids as an overflow from what you like. That's the part that I love about the business.
Right,
is because we're in such a great, big, wonderful industry.
And I want that same thing.
I still say it's the best kept secret in America, this industry, and it has so much opportunity in multiple verticals. I know we say the Life Insurance Academy here. About a week ago, we had our two, I forget when the podcast aired with Dallas Keithley, and the thing, he started talking about Medicare so much, I think Adam threw Medicare up on the sign. It was like the Medicare Insurance Academy podcast. I'm like,
on his feet all the time.
But the industry is so diverse, and there's so much opportunity, and it spills over and benefits people's lives in ways that you can't even imagine. And I feel like we have a gift, man, and like let's just give it away. The industry is huge. Let's collaborate. Let's
Plenty
bring
to
people
go around. Yes.
Let's help everybody win. Let's all ships rise on this rising tide, and let's make the opportunity accessible. And stop trying to hold the secrets, man.
That's the whole thing. It's like Bible principle, hiding under you take your light and hide under a bushel. You don't do that. And I'm not trying to over spiritualize anything, but it's the same concept. I don't get this idea that it's us and we're against the world, and it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And I want to share it with more people, and I wanted a vehicle that could get me there as quickly as possible. And Mike and Jalen again, cannot talk about them enough. Professionalism, young guys know what they're doing, heads screwed on straight, and are tied into people that we all are following as well. So this whole thing in the industry of again, I'll just keep going back to it, trying to be, we're just going to keep it to ourselves, and I'm not going to tell you my lead source, and I'm going to share my script with you, and I'm not going to tell you how I do it. Well, unless you're on my team. Okay.
So let's talk about it. So one of the keys to being successful in final expense telesales is a lead source.
Sure.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Because is that exclusive?
Exclusive to me?
Is it exclusive? Is that something you don't want other people to know about? Or
of course not. Of course not.
Right.
I have a CRM and I have a lead source. They talk to each other, and this again got the scars for that one as well. We all know that is there a magic? And I have on social media, and I have put content together for them and said, is there any such thing as a magic lead? Well, of course not. Anybody who says that to you is snake oil salesman, which we call lead vendors in our industry. So, no, not all of them. No,
but some of them may position themselves that way.
Yeah, and it's just the way you position. Yeah, exactly how you're positioned and what you're saying. I tell everybody you got with like everything in any industry, you got this end over here, then they're horrible, awful. You got this end over here. If they're golden leads and they may work for you, and then everything else in the middle is kind of a mixture. I'm not the guy that you're going to talk to because I made a living on age leads. Because I ran my own programs. I actually learned how to do Facebook leads and put them out there, and still got the same exact phraseology and excuses that everybody says on the phone when I was paying $35, $45, $55. I'm like, okay, this is silly. Why am I doing that? And I'm just wasting my time. So now I don't care. It's an opportunity, activity. Going to another person you've had on here with Roman Caval. He's my hero. I want to be Roman when I grow up, but his activity is off the charts for me. Now, when we sat, we were over and having I don't know how to phrase that without talking about it with our IMO Impact, and we got to talk about telesales. And as soon as he starts talking about $500,000 plus over the course of a couple of years, and he and I got to spend time together, obviously, and I was just, I'm like, okay, I'm not that guy. I'm not your 12-hour a day guy or 10-hour a day guy, 6 days a week, everything else. Now he travels as well. He's been just since I've in the last few months, he's been on the south of France. He's been out to Hawaii, and he does all this stuff. He does the same thing of travel while you can. I have kids at home, so when I come home, I'm still looking for quality of life.
Yes.
That's what this brings. So. Yeah, lead sources are lead sources. I personally, am I allowed to name names here?
Of course you are.
So
you've tapped into something special.
I love it.
Corey Bell.
Corey Bell.
Let's talk about Corey.
He's a rock star too. He started off by just creating a CRM for his team, and it did so well that everybody else reached out to him. And it just kind of took off from there. So now he's got his own Facebook side and Slack channel, all this stuff, and you can sign up for it. But the key I found was the lead talking to the CRM. There's the same
lead
people.
to client CRM.
Lead to client CRM.
Yeah.
Business in a box leads. Mesh. So these leads are designed with this CRM in mind. They chat, they talk, they have an AI built into it that you can get. It is just, is it perfect? Of course not. Nothing is. But I went through from right before COVID, and I was really starting to go, I want to get into telesales because I want to be home more. And I was already licensed in multiple states, and I just started trying it out a day here. I'd just make some phone calls. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was just going to try it out. Then COVID, so now we're all telesales agents all of a sudden. If your IMO woke up and all of a sudden was telesales the day before, you're not being trained right. Even now, you're still not being trained right. That's off the record there. But that's when I started. I dug in. I went through 7 or 8 CRMs that were go high level, and then another 2 that were on platforms that weren't go high level. And point blank, this is the best one out there because Corey does telesales. He built it for telesales. So it's built for us by somebody who still sells to this day. So then he knew about leads. He started doing that. That just became a supplement for his organization as well. It is, again, nothing's perfect, but it meshed for me. And that was the early part of this year, and it 180-degree turn for my business as far as efficiency. I was less time on the phone, which I know I'm not supposed to say, but less time on the phone, and my closing ratio jumped so that I don't have to spend all day to make that one sale.
And you're so confident about it now, you recommend it to the agents that are working with you.
100%.
And, like, plug into this. It doesn't have to
100%.
be their only source of leads.
No,
but
of course not.
It's a full service CRM that they can plug into. It's kind of a plug and play package.
Absolutely.
And it's a part of your system.
It
The
is,
system and framework that you're talking about that you support. And so you train agents inside of this framework.
Right.
Language, word tracks, scripts,
Whole 9 yards.
opens,
Yep.
closes,
It
the
pops
whole
right
thing.
up there. Yeah.
And utilizing a CRM, a dialer, lead management.
Correct.
You've got a whole system.
Yeah.
In fact, you've got a business in a box.
I think that's why they named it that.
I think, but it's
It is.
more than that
Yes.
because it requires sales training.
That's true.
It requires mentorship.
Yep.
You get on Zooms. You open up the Zoom room. People
Correct.
can listen
Yep.
in and be a part of you and watch you.
Correct.
And experience it. They can shadow. They can grow.
Right.
And you do a slow handoff. So I really like that about you because that's like our mantra here, right? Our mantra here is don't just tell people what to do. Show them what to do.
Sure.
Show them what to do. And if you show them what to do and you do it with them, you're teaching them to fish.
Right.
You're not giving them a fish.
Right.
Right? What is God's word? Like,
Yep.
right? Like teach people to be fishers. Like teach people to be fishers.
Right.
And if you teach someone to do that, they will eat for a lifetime.
Correct.
Right? You're actually
And well, if they do
yes.
this right.
Yeah. And so that's the whole premise behind Life Insurance Academy. How do we come alongside people and help them realize that potential
Right.
in a way that is not just in a classroom environment or on a video?
Right.
We do coaching weekly.
Right.
We do these live events. You're at a live event right now.
Right.
What kind of coaching have you seen happen in the room that was like, that you thought, man, if other people could your experience. I don't want to conflate it.
I don't even know why. You should have that room should be packed. Like,
Well, we do limit it.
you have to.
Yeah.
But
we have
you,
to limit it.
You should make that thing twice as big and should do it every single week. There's just no reason. The kind of questions that even happened today, because you have other people while we're here and we got the one-on-one and you can be sitting there on your phone and Roger can be talking in your ear and helping you go through, especially for people that are new.
And Chris and Zach.
And Chris and
others.
Zach. Yeah, I would say
it's not just me.
The whole thing. And then we're all talking with each other and listening in and doing that. And I mean, it's a collaboration and everybody rises. And I still have, relationships now that we got from the last one. That, it's like, hey, finally get to meet you. And those connections. So now I have literally from Florida to California, I've got people that are doing what I'm doing and we're not with the same company, but we're friends and we're co-warriors, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. We're all in this fight together. And that's, to a one, everybody that's different, they keep looking around and going, you're not trying to recruit me. No. You just want to help me? Yeah. And you can see the smoke start going, right? You're like, what? I know. It doesn't happen in the industry. That's what makes Roger special. That's what makes Chris special. That's what makes Zach special. That's what makes this organization special. We've heard from multiple verticals while we've been here, from multiple people, none of which were directed to you technically, and none of which did any recruiting of any kind. They're like, here's what we do, and here's the tools that you can use to be successful. And everybody's like, but I have to move my contracts. No. We're just offering this to you just so you know what this looks like. That is unheard. And that's where I know I'm at the right spot. That's what I want to be a part of because now we all can grow. And it's life-changing. People aren't used to hearing that.
Cool, man. Cool. Tell me what you want new people to know. What's a new agent that's considering this, that's made it all the way through to this point? So 2 people that you're talking to.
Okay.
A new agent that's trying to get started in the industry or considering getting into the industry, And then there's this other person that's been in the industry for a while, struggling, maybe haven't found their way yet. They haven't found their niche. They haven't found their groove. They haven't found their rhythm. Those two people, what would you say to them about, number one, about the opportunity
Right.
as it exists? Number two, about maybe how to find some success? Because that's what people listen for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And why I was attracted here to begin with, obviously. The universal answer for both of them is going to be a community of surround yourself with people that actually care about you and want you to be successful. And I know if I've said that instantaneously right now, if they're already in the industry, that person already knows right now that at this moment whether that's true or not where you are. And if it's not, nothing else really matters, because you can only go as far as the people above you. The people above you, quote unquote, aren't pulling you up and trying to make you better. You're in the wrong spot. This industry is way too big. There's way too many people out there. There's way too many opportunities out there for you to struggle. There's just zero reason. If you're brand new, it's the same thing. Look at who am I talking to? What do they do? How do they do it? And I say this to everybody because I've had people say, well, I'm thinking about going blah, blah, blah. My first question is, how are they going to train you? You don't even know. You're sitting here having a conversation with me about what do you think I should do, and you can't answer a basic question about how you're going to get from point A to point B. What else would you do in life if you didn't know how you were going to do it? Mm-hmm. Even your job, you don't show up and take an interview and go, okay. Then they go, you have onboarding, some kind of training. Here's what to do. Here's what we expect.
Systems.
There's some kind of
expectations.
You knew where I was going, isn't that something?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is, okay, if you're going to start here, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to talk about the CRM. We're going to talk about leads. We're going to talk about the fact of how you're going to get paid and how this industry works. Then, are you going to be a part of it? What is it that you want? We got to have goals. We got to have, what all of us have to know what's the goal over here. I love spending time with my kids, but ultimately it's when I'm old and gray that they're still going to want to hang out with me and remember all these good times that we had to take on back. So there's got to be long-term things to go, but the community is going to be the foundational part, and then you just start building on top of that. I am passionate about training. I'm great at sales. I'm trying to think of the book I just read. It'll come to me here in a minute, but he talks about having things that you're good at, and then the next level is your level of genius that you just do naturally. That if nobody paid you for it, you would still do it. This is you're good at, and you make a living. I'll think of it here in a second. And this is the other part of it. And I realized our conversations have revealed to me, I've been operating over here, which is good. I have a good life. I mean, I don't have to work a ton. We travel a lot. It's not like anything's bad, but I have this other level that exists that I need extraction. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to do for other people. To say,
cool, man.
You don't need to be part of a 9-to-5. You don't have to do that.
Cool.
You can redeem your time. You can redeem your life back.
Redeem your life. In more than one way.
In more than one way.
Yeah.
We'll talk about both, whatever we need to do.
Tony, how can people reach you, man? If they want to reach out to Tony G, the OG, who's reinventing the money-making traveling machine.
Yes, definitely.
If they want to reach you, how do they reach you, man?
My website, state-regulated lifeinsurance.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. So if you put in Tony G in there, it'll pop up somewhere. You can find me on there. And that's probably the easiest way. And then we can kind of take it from there. So, and I have people in Washington and I have people in South Carolina where I'm at. So coast to coast, doesn't matter. I'm wide open. Anybody I want people to be successful, bottom line. And I think I have enough to at least get you to that point.
Flip-flops and T-shirts.
That's it.
Traveling money-making machine. So that's who Tony G is. Thank you, man, for being here on the Life Insurance Academy podcast. It's always a pleasure. I love spending time with you. You always make me smile on the inside and the outside when I'm with you. Thanks, brother.
Man. Thank you.
We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast.